Hello everybody, Catmatt here, part number six.
Six, I think it is.
Holy smokes.
Yes.
Part 6 of the life of a catfisherman, me, which obviously to most is probably pretty boring, but like I said, I wanted to do this anyway. So we left off the last part talking about obstacles and what else?
And
the moment I decided to go all in and
give it up.
Yeah, I mentioned a few obstacles. There's quite a few obstacles, obviously, and on Facebook you see them, and a lot of the obstacles you can refer to as idiots. There's a lot of those on the internet. Pardon the French, but my filter is, it just is what it is. I mean, there's a lot of idiots on the internet that, call. It doesn't matter if a guy runs a tournament this way, or if a guy runs his guide business that way, or if a guy, releases everything over 15 pounds or releases everything over 8 pounds. It doesn't matter what it is. You got guys that complain, throw hissy fits, cry like little babies, whatever it is. And those are obstacles. The reason I bring those up is because if you don't think sponsors and potential sponsors are watching the way we act on Facebook and other forms of social media, you are nuts. They absolutely do watch. They want to see what you say, what you do, how you react to situations. There's many situations that arise on the internet every week. Things that I don't like that are done by people I'm associated with, or things along those lines, that I could voice my opinion of or come unglued on the internet. And guess what that's going to get me? Absolutely nothing. It's going to draw more attention, more negative attention my way, make me look bad, and potentially cost me sponsors and associations that I don't really want to lose. So one of the hardest parts of having sponsors or obstacles is keeping them once you get them, and just learning to ignore things, letting things bounce off you, having a good support system, a great wife, a few good friends that you can vent to, throw things at, talk to in any situation, and know that it's not going any further than them. Get all that off your chest and learn to move on. You can remember those things, but you've got to, keep them in the back of your mind, but you've got to move on, or else they will kill you. They will cause you to lose things you've worked for. And so we are all going to have things happen to us that we don't like. We are all going to have people come along that we don't necessarily care for. And those are things, like I said, they have to stay off of social media. They absolutely have to. Don't care who you are, who you like, who you don't like, what boat you want to run, what knife you want to use, what hook you want to use. Like I said, you have to remain positive to the things you support and forget the rest is there. I mean, that's just the best thing for you. And believe me, it's super tough. At times it can be tough. You'll see people that don't live by those rules taking shots at this or that, and you want to jump in for everything you got. If the guy was closer, you'd probably have both hands around his neck, but you just can't do it. So obstacles, there are a many. How you deal with them will make you or break you. I have guys that have went to my sponsors and talked to them personally and flat out lied to them to try to get me removed from pro staffs. Some of those people are pretty prominent people. You see and they don't even know that I know this, but I know. I know who you are. But you know what? Does it do me any good to have a battle on Facebook with them, or a battle on Instagram with them, or do a YouTube video? Absolutely counterproductive. Because their people are going to believe them, our people are going to believe us, people are going to have mixed opinions, and you know what it gets us? It makes us both look stupid. You could trap them in a hallway somewhere and beat them to death, and that'll probably come out and make you look stupid too. So what you do is you always keep that stuff in the back of your mind, but you just keep moving forward. But it's always there. So it's a tough pill to swallow, man. I was in the service. I wrestled my whole life. I've always been, I ain't afraid of anything or anybody, but you can't live that, jump down everybody's throat thing every time you disagree with something or somebody does you wrong. You just can't do that on social media. It just is completely counterproductive, bad for the sport, and the sport takes enough black eyes, so we cannot do that kind of stuff. So,
well, with that
what it
being
is.
said, what's your take on the increase in popularity of catfishing, especially monster fish, over the last 20 years? Good, bad, ugly?
That's a great question. I don't know who asked that question, but that's a great question. I think it's great. Technology and internet knowledge and all the things that have become open to people or available to people has really aided in that, and better equipment for certainly has helped people land more big fish. So I think that's great. There has been downsides, the whole taking the monster fish and putting them in pay lakes. That's a horrible thing that we got going on right now. Horrible. And you still got people out there that still have that mindset of wanting to eat everything they catch, and you're always hoping that they'll put the big fish back. But technically, that's been a hard. When I was younger and I started the Catfish Academy, I kept a lot of fish when I was young. Never kept real big fish, but it was kind of a hard pill to swallow as I got older, and I started to understand how long it takes some of these fish to get big and how many eggs they lay and all the important stuff. And at first, it was pretty easy to look around the internet, some of the message boards, and just condemn people that didn't conform to my way of thinking. Then I found out as I got older I was better off, some 15 years ago, to befriend those people and not jump down their throat, because I could convert them a lot easier as a friend than I ever could as an enemy. And I have converted many a person, to release bigger channel cats, bigger flatheads, even, bigger blues has not been obviously our thing up here, but I feel like I've saved thousands of fish by becoming friends with people and being able to explain things to them and introduce them to catch and release and how important it is. And I know that I have personally, changed the view of many people. And if we all do that, and there's a lot of guys doing the same thing. But if we all continue to do that, every big fish you save, man, just think of, you're not just saving that fish, you're saving potentially thousands of eggs. And then if a few of those eggs grow to maturity, you've saved those. So it's a ripple effect that can go on and on and on if you save one big fish. So certainly condemning people, you have zero chance of converting that person. By befriending them and explaining to them, you've got the chance of converting a few people. And that few people can convert to thousands and thousands of fish down the road.
So what regulations would you like to see nationwide on catfish?
Well, I'd like to see catfish recognized as a sport fish in every state in the country. Once they get that respect, which they should, I mean, they're by far the most sensory percept fish out there. They're big. They fight hard. They're ready, available everywhere in the country. There's zero reason why they shouldn't be recognized as a sport fish, and zero reasons why there shouldn't be creel and slot limits on them in every state in the country. Now, we're starting to see that. It's slow, but it is happening, but it's not happening fast enough, and all we can do is keep pushing and keep our fingers crossed and hope so. But I would love to see creel and slot limits in every state catfish exists in, which is most of them. I believe almost upper 30s. 35, 40 states in the United States have catfish in them, I think. So that'd be huge.
We're going to change the subjects just a little bit. How has catfishing changed your life?
Well, catfishing has not really changed my life. Catfish has been my life. So I have lived a catfish lifestyle, so to speak, since I was a kid. And I've had moments, when I was in the service. Well, by the way, I had a question about that. So I never did travel overseas in the service and catch any other catfish. But, there was times when I didn't get to fish as much. Being in the service was one of them. But Um, I have just continued to evolve as the catfish game or catfish world has evolved. You know, I've seen it grow through all the aches and pains, and you know, back when the Red River was first introduced to the world on Babe Winkleman in Selkirk, Manitoba, and catching giant channel cats on frogs, and then you know we started the whole daytime flathead fishing thing here, and I mean just there's been thousands of moments in the catfishing world that I've seen, and you know, catfishing now is, some people lose the sight of it, that it is still supposed to be something we do for fun. But yeah, the business aspect has come into it, and you know, you'll see everybody's trying to make a dime over it and off of it, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, people seen the first car and thought, you know, if I make more cars, I can make money off that. And then when Ford made those, and Chevy came, you know, and all these other companies, there's nothing wrong with wanting to make money off the sport of catfishing. People are making money off of deer hunting, squirrel hunting, turkey hunting, everything else. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just, you know, the way people will classify people is, look at all they're doing for the sport. Look what they're doing for the sport. Everybody's got a different niche in the sport of catfishing. I like to be involved in all of it, and you know, teach his own, I guess. But
So, do you believe you have paid anything back to the catfishing world?
I've spent my whole life giving back to the catfish world. Most people don't know the things that I've done for catfishing through the tournaments and the giveaways, and you know, I started doing that years and years and years and years ago. Do I deserve a medal? No. You know, but I have dedicated my life to bettering the sport of catfishing. You know, and along the way, you know, I've had very few tangle ups with people. I've had a few with a few guys out there. We've had big time disagreements, and you know, we've had relationships that have been strained because of it, and it is what it is. But you know, only a few of them mattered. Most of them were just guys that didn't know what the hell they were talking about anyway. But I have I feel like I've done more for this. I've given much more to the sport than I've taken from it. I'm going to continue to give to it as much as I can, because I love it, and that's what I do. That's what we do. So, yeah, I've been giving to the sport of catfishing since, you know, for 20 years now. Without, basically the only thing that a monetary gain that I made for a long time was just my guide business. So, heck, I even got criticized for that, you know, wanting to make a living as a guide, taking people's money to take them fishing. You shouldn't do that. You know, you think you're better than everybody else. I mean, there's just the haters. I mean, people just need to find better things to do with their time. But is that it? That's all the questions you had, Gamma?
For this session,
What's next?
the next session would be the wrap up.
The wrap up. We got one more of these videos, and we're going to wrap things up. Thanks for watching. This was part 6. I hope you've enjoyed it all so far. And feel free to ask more questions, but we're going to do a wrap up video at some point today and be done with this little series of the life of a catfisherman. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, and we will see you soon for part number 7. Bye-bye.
Bye.